Alright, I'd like to welcome everyone to Ironside Minyan. Hope everybody had a great holiday. This week's Parashat is Parashat Shemini. Very, very interesting Parashat. As you know, for the past few weeks we've been discussing the Mishkan, the articles, all the different things that we brought forward, the gold, the silver, the copper, the linen, the wool, all the leathers, all the special things, all the tools that were made together, the putting it together. At this week's Parashat Shemini, it all comes to a head. It's like a culmination of all the past few parashiyot. Finally, we're going to put it together, we're going to put it to use. So Shemini in Hebrew means the eighth, which basically means it was the eighth day. It was the inauguration day of the Mishkan. Inside this parasha there's a lot of different concepts, but I thought it'd be interesting to go into a day in the life of Aaron HaKohen. And this would be the day that I want to zoom in on. What if we were next to Aaron HaKohen on this day? Well, let's just try to, from a different angle, what was Aaron's life like on that day? So here we are, the culmination of the building of the Mishkan. Everything is anointed. We also have Aaron HaKohen being anointed and appointed as the chief Kohen Gadol. His children also, Nadav Avihu, Elazar, and Itamar, also anointed to be Kohanim as well. It's an emotional high for everybody. Moshe was putting the Mishkan together for 7 days and taking it apart. Putting it together and taking it apart. 7 days. On the 8th day, put it together, it's ready to go. They bring korbanot. They bring korban, a sin offering, a burnt offering, and a peace offering. And the whole Am Yisrael is on a high. They're super excited. Because when a fire came from the heavens and accepted the offering, they felt we were forgiven. Everything's good. Hashem loves us again. So we're excited. So you could imagine Aaron, Moshe, Am Yisrael, everybody's just ecstatic at what's going on over here. And in the middle of it all, a tragedy. In the middle of all of this, Nadav and Avihu, Aaron's children, get zapped in the Mishkan. They come in with an esh zara, with a strange fire or a strange offering that wasn't acceptable in Hashem's eyes. They said that a fire came in through their nostrils, sucked out their souls, and they were gone. Now, Nadav and Avihu were spiritual giants. These aren't regular guys that just made a mistake. These guys were Aaron's kids. Not only were they his sons, but they were on such a high level. Some rabbis say that they were even higher than Moshe and Aaron. How could this happen? Why did this happen? What can we learn from it? So let's look into it a little bit. What's this esh zara? What is this strange fire? So basically they took a pan, put some fire into it, then they put incense on top of it, on top of the fire, and they brought it. And that's the action that they did. That's what they brought. That was the actual thing. And by the way, they were on such a high level as Kohanim, or they were such on a high level as Jews, that this was their only sin. Keep this in mind, this was their only sin. They never had any sin before this. And some people say that it wasn't even a sin. They had good intentions. Well, let's look into it. What's the reason for their death? What was wrong with this offering that they brought? Several reasons. All of them are very, very interesting. One, the most famous one, is that they entered the Mishkan drunk. They drank wine or a different type of a strong drink, and they came in drunk. Hashem says, no, you can't come to Mishkan drunk. We don't do it like that. And he sent a signal for all Am Yisrael, don't you dare come into the Mishkan intoxicated. As a matter of fact, he told the whole Torah of how to come in, how to serve Hashem, and what's the laws of Yain to Aaron HaKohen right after that. Right after the death of his children. It was one of his merits that Hashem was able to speak to him directly. Another opinion of why they were killed is they weren't married. A Kohen needs to be married before he comes and does a service. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. It says that they were conceited. They would say, my uncle is the king, Moshe Rabbeinu. My other uncle, he's the head of the Levi tribe. My father is Kohen Gadol. Me, us, Nadav and Avihu, we're the assistants to the Kohen Gadol. There's nobody here worthy of such a guy. Nobody here worthy of such a man in this nation. So Hashem says because they were not married, because they had that outlook, they were conceited, that was another reason why they died. A third opinion is that it says over there, Rashi says, that they spoke a halacha in front of their rabbi. By the way, that's not allowed. You can't have like a rabbi in the room and all of a sudden you're like speaking a halacha or saying something against what he's saying. So apparently in our religion it's a big no-no. So Nadav and Avihu spoke a halacha before their rabbi. And a different explanation that I heard is actually that they went ahead and brought this offering without going to their rabbi. Who is their rabbi? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe is their rabbi. Ask him. They did this on their own accord. Go ask Moshe. He's your rabbi. No, they chose the halakha themselves and then when they did it. That warrants death. There's another explanation that is brought in the Gemara in Talmud Bavli in Masechet Sanhedrin in page 52a. Nun Bet. It says over there that Moshe and Aaron are walking and Nadav and Avihu are right behind them and they're like, one of these old fogies is going to die so we can take over. One of these old men going to take over, die so we can be in charge. Several opinions of why they got killed. Right after they got killed, Moshe turns to Aaron, to his brother, and he tells him, he says, Hu asher diber Adonai le'emor bekirvi ekadesh. What does that mean in English? It says, I will be sanctified by those who are close to me. God told Moshe that I will be sanctified, when the Mishkan will be built, I will be sanctified by those who are close to me. Moshe understood it this way. Who's close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Two people, more than anybody. It would be Moshe and Aaron. And he knew that the day of the Mishkan, when the inauguration of the Mishkan, one of them is going to go. When Nadav and Avihu were the ones that were taken away, he was like, wow, they're probably on a super high level. Because Hashem says, I'll be sanctified by those who are close to me. I thought me and you are the closest to Hashem. It seems like Nadav and Avihu are on a higher level. And this is what I'm trying to explain to you. These were giants. These were mamash tzaddikim. I mean, we have here a lot of different interpretations of why things happen, but there's no mistake that Nadav and Avihu were the first ones to be taken in the Mizbech for a reason. Okay, so something that was very interesting, this is from the Zohar. I just really wanted to know, I wanted to go into depth. Why? What are all the reasons? Why would these guys get zapped? It seems like they had good intentions. So I found one reason from the Zohar that does speak of their good intentions. It says that they wanted to rectify the sin of Adam HaRishon. In other words, they said that they brought a couple of korbanot. One of them was the korban in order to rectify for the sin of Yosef. The other korban was to rectify the sin of the Egel. And he said, Nadav and Avihu said, don't wait. Let's go all the way. Let's fix the sin of Adam HaRishon. So they got their hands on a super ancient bottle of wine. The same bottle of wine that Noah drank and fell to the floor, and his sons did what they did to him. And the same wine that Adam HaRishon drank from in Gan Eden. They got their hands on this wine and they said, okay, let's fix Adam HaRishon's sin. And they went ahead and they drank that wine and they came to Hashem. What happened with Adam HaRishon when he first drank the wine? He hid, right? He was hiding from Hashem. They said, no, let's change things up. Let's face Hashem. Come on. Hashem, look, we drank the wine, we want to rectify it. We want to do things differently this time. They get sad. Even though they had those good intentions of tikkun of Adam HaRishon. Okay. So that's some of the reasons of why they did it. Now again, if you go to that thing that says strange fire, Esh Zara, what does it mean? This strange fire. That it was not done properly. Okay, I can understand that. But I heard a novel interpretation that connects to us today. What is this strange fire? What's a fire? What's an Esh? Esh is like a desire, right? It says that their desire was strange. In other words, they came from a good place. From their angle, they thought that what they wanted, their desire, their fire, their Esh, to what they want to do, that was their side of it. But in reality, it wasn't the proper thing to do. It was an Esh Zara. Okay. How can we explain that? It's like this. Sometimes a person can feel super connected to God, or to a holiday, or to a Shabbat, and he comes up with this idea, well, if I do this, Hashem is going to love that. And the truth is what does the halakha say? What is the dry halakha? What did the rabbis tell us is allowed or not allowed to do? That's what you're supposed to do. A Jew checks what halachically he's supposed to do, not what he emotionally feels he's doing. A classic case of that, a classic case of what Nadav and Avihu did, which they used their emotions over halakha, which, by the way, in a few parashiyot from now, we'll have the story of Zimri. Over there, the guy also used his emotions instead of the halakha. The classic case of a person that used his emotions instead of going of what Hashem commanded us. Shaul went to war with Amalek, had the option or had the opportunity to destroy all of Amalek. Done. We don't have to deal with them anymore. What did he do? He says, nah, look at these beautiful cows. Let me bring them as a sacrifice to Hashem. Look at these beautiful, look at this ox. Oh, this king, you know what, let me bring him over here and let me do a special ceremony with him. Why? The decree was, the order was, destroy them all. Now the Amalek people were wizards. They were shapeshifters. They were able to shift from human form to animal form. So the animals that he left behind, the animals that he left behind were actually human beings. If he would just continued in the way that he was supposed to do, and not thought, oh, these animals are prime meat to bring a korban, it would have been a completely different outcome. That's just to give you that it's happened before in history, when people got so ecstatic about a moment in their spirituality that they made the wrong decision. So that's what we learn over here, is that Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want that. Hashem doesn't want you to come into shul or studying drunk, or nowadays what's more popular, high. He says, he gave us a signal. Nowadays there's a whole thing of, I'll just go into it quickly. A lot of people go, there's a whole back and forth, a debate. What's the Jewish take? What's the halachic take on marijuana? What is it? Now the states legalized it, right? So surely it's okay. You go online, you can see tons of videos for it with huge rabbis and against it, huge rabbis. This week's parasha tells us Hashem doesn't want it. He says, don't come into my house drunk. Nowadays, don't come into my house drunk or high. Zap. I don't want that. Nadav and Avihu are a prime example for everybody. Learn, not okay, not in my house. So, there's always that thing, there's a thing about yain. V'yain samach levav enosh. Wine is great for people to lift their spirits.
But are there rabbis that are
for it?
favor?
Of course, many. Almost all of them are in favor when it comes to medical usage. We're talking about recreational usage where most of them defer, but not, a lot of people are coming out.
But when you party, like supposedly in the holidays, you have to drink wine and stuff. Like modify a little bit, you can smoke your joint.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So that's what they say. So if you drink,
it's 420 today. No, it's 420 today.
So that's what they. So this is what they say. They say, isn't it easier and less abusive to the body to maybe partake in smoking as opposed to drinking 2-3 bottles of wine? The liver, being inebriated, not being able to walk, talk, drive. Isn't it a better option? Right? Whatever it is, I'm not going to deal with it right now. I came to talk about Nadav and Avihu. But at the end of the day, we learned that Hashem does not want us to study Torah or to walk into shul high, drunk. Don't. There's no drinking wine and coming to the Mishkan. Not allowed to be intoxicated. Something you should know. Because a lot of people, there's a lot of gray areas nowadays. It's not black and white. A lot of people are now studying Talmud because they feel that they can focus more if they get into a certain state of mind. This week's Parashat tells us no. Let's go back to Aaron. So we said here it is. Aaron, the Kohen HaGadol, is on this emotional roller coaster of a day. Here he is. It's like the president on his first day in office. There he is. He's getting the office. He's getting the oil poured on him. All his family's right there. The whole Am Yisrael is right there. Everybody's so happy. Hashem accepted their offerings. He's so excited. Boom! He looks to the right. He's going to deal with the death of his children. Whoa! What a high! What a low! What do you do? What do you do? What do regular people do? How do they react? Most people lose it. Most people don't know how to handle that shift of energy from being happy to being sad. But what does the Torah testify about Aharon? Vaidom. Vaidom Aharon. Vaidom means he froze. He stood still like a rock. He didn't go one way or the other. Wasn't happy, wasn't sad, he just accepted it. Got a big reward for that from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But today I'd like to learn one big life lesson from it, from Aaron, to accept life. How many of us are accepting life? How many people go through life, and no matter what the day deals them, whether it's a success or a failure, that they just stood there like a rock. Yes, I accepted, this is my life. How many people complain? How many people cry? How many people don't accept their situation or the consequences or the result of their choices? Why is that? The reason is it's because most people have a hard time accepting themselves. You have a very hard accepting that you made a choice and it didn't pan out for you. Or maybe if you did make a choice and Hashem took it to a place different than what the end result of what you thought it was. But I ask you a question. Can anybody handle such a high on one day and such a low one day and then just freeze like a rock, like Aharon? This week's parasha is here to teach us to learn to accept your life. Because the challenge that Aharon had, nobody had it. And sometimes we learn that sometimes the tzaddikim, they don't go through those things for them. They go through those experiences so we can learn from it. So Bezat Hashem, we learn to accept our reality. Bezat Hashem, we get to know the Torah a little bit deeper. Today I just went on a couple of big tzaddikim, Nadav and Avihu. Sometimes it's just like a passing name that we hear in March or in April. Oh, Nadav and Avihu, and then that's it, the Torah rolls over. But sometimes you want to focus in, who are they? Why do we think like that? What did they do? Did they do something right? Did they do something wrong? The Torah is sweet and beautiful. And the more you dig, the more you find. And today what I found that was different for me from the previous years is I was surprised to know that wine that they drank was the wine of Adam HaRishon. And they had good intentions. They just wanted to fix what Adam HaRishon did. Be'ezat Hashem, that we shall have the merit to fix Chet Adam HaRishon. Be'ezat Hashem, that this week's parasha, it's called Shemini. Shemini is the 8th. However, they say Shemini, when it comes up and you read it the week of that Shabbat, that means, okay, it's in natural order. But if you notice, this week's Parashat Shemini was supposed to be read last week, and we didn't read it, because the holiday, right? So Shemini was parked for a week. There's some years that it gets parked for a couple of weeks. It all depends on the year, leap year, whatever is going on with it. But the rabbis tell us, the year that Parashat Shemini is stalled for like a week or two, that means that the Shemini turns into Shmena, that the year becomes a fat year. It has a sign for big prosperity. So Be'ezat Hashem, they will have a prosperous year, because we just started a new year after Nisan. Glad to be back. Looking forward to seeing you guys again next week. You have a great rest of the week, and Shabbat Shalom.